Wow, look at that. Ah, smells good.
That does smell good. Nutritious and delicious. Welcome to another Chew and Chat. I am
right.
Justine Dorn, and this is Ron Rayfield.
Hi, everybody.
And today we have venison stew, my own recipe. And we have a very interesting dish that I really cannot wrap my mind around it actually being 200-something years old. This is toast with cheese and mustard and other things on it. But it's kind of like cheesy toast, basically. It's cheesy
like a
toast.
garlic cheesy bread, but without the garlic?
But without the garlic, yeah. And it's all really good. But Ron hasn't tried it yet,
I have
so
not.
we will see if he likes it.
Wow, I don't know like this. I've been smelling it, and I'm ready to get into it.
Okay, get into it.
Yeah, this reminds me of the venison meat pie you made around Christmas time 2 years ago on the channel.
Yeah.
That was the most delicious meat pie I ever ate in my life.
Oh, thanks.
And if you'd like to see Justine make that and this and all of the wonderful things that we eat here on Frontier Patriot, please go over to our main channel. That's Early American. Over there, we cook it.
And here we eat it.
And here we eat it.
I love
look at that.
venison. I would say venison is my favorite meat. Are equal to pork. I really like pork too, but I also just really love venison.
White meat, I love pork. Red meat or dark meat, I love venison, beef,
Lamb.
lamb. It's okay.
Yeah. And for anyone wondering what venison is, it's deer.
Bambi!
Bambi. No, it's full-grown deer, but like everyone around here is obsessed with deer.
Well, beef is expensive and deer is,
Not.
free, basically.
It's free, basically. So we will say grace, dig into this, give our review for better or for worse, and chat about a whole lot of stuff.
Oh, yes.
Is it my turn or your turn?
It is your turn.
Dear Lord, thank you so much for bringing us all together today. That's our friends that are watching right now. That's also Ron and myself. Thank you for this food. Please let it nourish our bodies, and please protect the health of everyone that's watching and all their loved ones out there today. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Yes.
We hope you're all having a great week.
Yep.
We've been having a pretty good week too. We got our interior walls done on our house.
Yes, we have.
So next step is up to the second floor.
Yeah, we're building a house from the ground up. That's how it usually goes. I've never heard of one built from the top down.
That's very tender.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. Every meat tastes better when you slow cook it in a cast iron pot over a fire.
Those carrots are amazing. I love
He loves carrots.
carrots, and especially when they're cooked. I love cooked carrots.
You know what's funny? In the very, very first video that you were ever in on my channel, I mentioned in it that Ron really likes carrots. I put on the text, Ron really likes carrots. That video, I had only known you for what, 1 or 2 weeks?
Yes, that video was very awkward, if you will.
Because I had only just met you.
And we were already kind of falling in love, but there was like this tension where we were still like super shy.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know what to say, and I hadn't been on camera before, and I was like, what am I supposed to say?
You don't say anything.
I said like 2 words. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Feed me carrots.
And now here I am and welcome you guys into our dinner table dining area with full confidence.
Imagine that. How did that happen? This is pretty good, yeah. This is very, very healthy. This deer was grown without hormones or antibiotics because it was just out in the wild. Like food was kind of intended.
I mean, it eats the grass that's been sprayed with Roundup, unfortunately, but it is what it is.
Who sprays Roundup on grass?
Well, the runoff, from the farm fields.
Well, we can never escape anything anymore.
No, we can't. Unfortunately.
Gosh, you depress me so much.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bring you all down.
Yeah.
It's in everything, unfortunately. But no, this is really good. This is not going to last the rest of this video. I can tell you that.
Wow,
right now.
okay. This was very, very good. He's about to say something, I can tell.
It's not gamey at all.
No.
It's very tender. It's very tasty. It's like a high-end cut of beef is what it tastes like.
Oh.
This is delicious. This is a 15 out of 10.
Whoa.
I'm going off the scales.
Whoa.
I've never gone that high before. I've said 11 before.
Yes, he has.
This is 15.
We might have said 1,000 out of 10 once before, but let's just forget that ever happened.
Okay. But anyways, this is a 15 out of 10.
Now, all you out there that have told me, oh, deer is so gamey, I don't like it. Do you know why that is? Like, I've never had gamey deer in my life. Is it because of how they clean it?
That's one thing.
Okay.
The next thing is you got to get the fat off of it. You got to get that silver tissue off.
Yeah.
And that's also what makes it tough, too. That's it's part of the muscle, so it gets it tough.
That's what I thought it was when people in the past have come to me and said, oh, this don't taste like my grandpa's deer. When he made it, tasted gamey, tasted like I was eating a wild animal. I didn't really like it. And I would tell them, well, did he clean it properly? Because you're supposed to remove all the fat. And, you know, some animals you might think, how can you cut the fat off? I think because we're so used to eating pork and things like that where the fat actually tastes real good. But on some animals, the fat does not taste good. You have to cut the fat off and just eat the meat.
I don't like beef fat that much.
You don't?
It makes the dish. You gotta have a little bit of it, but if it's on the edge of a steak, I don't eat it. Now, if there's a little bit of fat on a pork steak, I'll eat it. It's good.
The hormones might be stored in the fat or something. That might be why the fat tastes gamey. But I've never had gamey deer. Because everyone I know knows to cut the fat off.
Yes.
And if I get a piece that I see a little bit of fat on it, I know to cut it off.
No, this is excellent. You did a great job.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, so you gave it a
15.
15 out of 10. I would give this a 9 out of 10.
Get out of here. You're crazy. 9 out of 10?
I would give it a 10 out of 10 if maybe if it had lamb in it, just because oh my gosh. Okay, I said pork is my favorite meat.
What are you doing?
I said deer is my favorite meat.
She doesn't know what she's talking about.
But I take that back. Actually, lamb is my favorite meat. It's all my favorite, but this would be really good with lamb too.
Alright, let me get into this here. Now, the ingredients in this, minus the Parmesan cheese, reminded me of filling that you'd put into a deviled egg.
Yeah.
It's got mustard. It's got...
Wait, there's no
egg yolk?
spicy stuff in it though.
Oh, okay, well, it's similar. It's got mustard and egg yolk.
Right.
What else is in this? Is there spices like pepper and salt?
Pepper and salt.
What else did I see you put in this? You put you put butter, didn't you?
I put butter in it. Yeah. Yeah, but there's no spiciness to it. It's just like a cheesy toast.
Let's see if there's a crunch factor here.
I'd say there is. It's good. It has a little hint of mustard.
You can see the yellow with the white line.
Yeah, because the butter has saturated down into that toast.
Let's see what this does. Get in some of that juice.
I was thinking about making a video just talking about this toast, but this is our normal lives. We aren't about to sit here and just eat cheesy toast for lunch, so I had to make something else. Now, I can't really tell you too much about this receipt. I found this one in a Sturbridge Village cookbook, which those of you out there that know, Sturbridge Village, it's in Massachusetts.
From the 1830s, ain't it?
I think it's an early, I only know it's an early 1800s village, kind of like Colonial Williamsburg, except it's early 1800s. And just like Colonial Williamsburg, they published their own cookbooks and whatnot. Now, this cookbook was a compilation of early 1800s American receipts. And this one was in it. The only problem is, why do people do this? They did not put who published the receipt on the page. They have it at the end in their sources, but they don't say page 47 we use this, page 48 we use this. It just has a long list of like 15 different cookbooks that they sourced everything from, but it doesn't say where what came from who and when. So I have to do my own research later on and figure out where this receipt came from, which is, why would they do that?
By the way,
Why?
receipt means recipe.
Yes.
It was the word that was used for recipes up until the
About the 1920s.
Yeah, until the beginning of the 20th century. So if you think about it, A recipe gives you more directions. A receipt gives you the quantity and of what. Or it gives you the item and the quantity. Just like when you go to the grocery store. So when you look at these older cookbooks, because they're so very vague, it'll say, excuse me. The pepper got me.
Man down!
I'm going down!
Run!
Okay, I'm back. It'll say, I don't know, rose water, 1 tablespoon.
It's a list.
Yeah, it's a list. Itemized list. So that's why we call it a receipt. Yes, some people did use the word recipe back then.
It was very rare.
But it just depends on where you're standing at, what country, what you're cooking. You cook in French, you cook in English, you cook in German.
It was super rare to find any reference to the word recipe in the 18th and early 19th century. I found out that there was like one place I could find it in a dictionary, and that was it. Like I couldn't, like all the actual cookbooks that I get my recipes from, it'll literally say on the front page, collection of receipts from whatever, who published it, and published in Boston and all that, like they never, it wasn't common language, it was receipt back then, that's how everyone talked.
But yeah, this is delicious. Even if you're not a deer hunter or you don't have deer available, you can make this with beef easily. You can
lamb.
Or lamb, or you can even do it with pork if you want to.
Maybe.
Well, sure you could.
Yeah, I guess you could.
It'd be a pork stew or a pork roast, whichever you like to call it.
I could put anything in here.
Yeah, and it would be good. As long as you do it low and slow, it'd be good and tender.
That's the trick. Low and slow.
I love it.
Thank you.
As far as the bread goes, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Just because it's so unique, I can't quite put my thumb on it, on what it reminds me of.
It's missing garlic.
Maybe that's it.
It needs garlic.
Maybe. It is good.
I got more Parmesan cheese.
Oh, good.
You want some?
Oh, thank you. Yes, they had cheese back then.
Especially Parmesan cheese.
Very popular in America.
You can't throw a rock in the early 1800s without hitting a cookbook that has Parmesan cheese in it. They were obsessed with Parmesan cheese.
Parmesan cheese, it lasts a long time.
It ships very well.
And stores very well.
Yeah. It stores very, very well.
They even had Parmesan cheese ice cream.
They did, didn't they? Yeah, see when I say they were obsessed with Parmesan cheese, I'm not exaggerating.
What were some things they were obsessed with besides Parmesan cheese?
Lemons.
Lemons.
They were absolutely obsessed with lemons.
Chocolate.
They were obsessed with chocolate in ways that I can't even put into words. Like they would have, like, hot chocolate was considered a normal breakfast drink.
But it was more like a chocolate gravy.
Yeah, it was thick.
It was sticky thick.
They really wanted that chocolate. Yeah, so citrus fruits, chocolate, Parmesan cheese. I'm trying to think what else. Like, you can't even look through any historical cookbook of this time period without seeing these ingredients. I think they were just so obsessed with them because they were so new, and the trade routes were now super firmly established and they weren't monopolized anymore. So this food was cheaper than it had ever been before.
Yeah.
So everyone was just going crazy for it. I'm glad you like it, Ron. Now, what would I rate this cheesy toast? That all I know is it's from the early 1800s, but I don't have an exact period on it yet.
I'm predicting you're going to give it a 5.
I'm going to give it a 7.
I'm surprised.
Because I love toast. Anyone else out there just feel like you could survive off of bread? Bread and potatoes. You might be super bloated all the time, but you can survive off of it.
People have been doing it for thousands of years.
Yeah, they have been surviving off of it.
Last week we met a very beautiful couple, Mr. and Mrs. Ferguson. Jamie, she painted this awesome little plaque of our cabin here.
Yeah, she painted that herself, and we will meet with people that want to meet us in St. Genevieve. So they told us way ahead of time that they were gonna meet with us on that day. So we went down and met up with them for an hour or so, and they brought us this plaque that they painted of our cabin. It was very sweet and kind of them. Thank you.
So, anyways, thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Yeah,
We'll keep it forever.
if I attempted to paint like that, I would get 2 brush strokes in before the canvas just burst into flames.
Well, as I got to looking closer, you can see Mishmish there, you can see the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the fine little details.
It's very sweet. Thank you. We will cherish it forever. Now, Ron, back to talking about our house build.
Yes.
So we have the interior walls on the first floor in.
Mm-hmm.
Ron's dad has been incredibly helpful in us.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the work is being done by Ron and Ron's dad. Whenever we have a wall raising party, we'll have like his cousins and a couple of our friends come too. But when we say we're building our house, we're really building our house. We're not hiring anyone to do it.
We're too broke to hire anybody.
Yeah. Plus our pride is just way too high up to want to hire anybody.
We're too stubborn.
We're too stubborn.
And stupid.
Yeah.
It is very hard. They weren't kidding when they said it'd be the hardest thing you ever did. You want some more of this?
No, I'm good.
Before I take it off?
No, I'm good. I'm just gonna have a whole lot of cheese and toast right now.
Okay. I'm gonna have the rest of this.
So Ron's dad, he has built 2 houses to date.
I
Both of
think
them.
he's built more than that.
Really?
Well.
They were both for himself
And
to live in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He doesn't build houses for other people. He builds
No.
houses for himself to live in.
But there's been some other ones he's
Helped on, like family and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for helping us. So he told us that once you start framing, you really have to get it done ASAP. Because it's very sensitive to the wind. If a storm comes in, it could blow it down. You know, it's not...
Water.
Yeah, it's, you know, water erosion and everything. So we are currently working ourselves into an early grave to try to get the framing done. We are going to start working on the second floor, the floor joists. What do you think? Next week, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we're going to start putting up the second floor walls. We're going to have another wall raising party for that, because those walls are really, really heavy, Ron. How heavy do you think those walls are?
I have no idea, but they are 40 foot long and they're 2x6 thick and they are full sheeted.
Yeah, so they're hundreds.
Very, very heavy.
They're definitely hundreds of pounds. I mean, the longest one might be 400 pounds. I don't know, but it's pretty heavy. So more than that, you think? 500 pounds.
It's probably 1,000 pounds.
1,000 pounds?
For
Wow.
a 40 foot wall, that's 9 foot tall, yeah.
Wow. That ain't nothing for me. But then after that, we are going to work on the roof, which will be absolutely terrifying. So please, please say a prayer for us that nothing bad happens for us when we work on the roof, because we're really nervous about that.
Yep, Ron here does not like heights.
No, we might tie a rope to your waist.
So I'm hanging there.
Like a yo-yo.
Yeah, who's gonna pull me up?
I won't, so we'll just leave you there,
Just
I
hook me up
guess.
to the truck and just
Okay.
pull me up.
Wow, you and your genius ideas. So yeah, please say a prayer for us when we do the roof, which is going to be in a couple of weeks, because that is going to be terrifying. But so far the house is coming along very well. I am so happy with it, and I just feel incredibly grateful. All you guys that have been our friends, you guys watching our videos has made this possible.
Absolutely.
But also the help from our friends and family has really made this possible. When I say that, I mean them physically coming out there and helping us to lift the walls. Or sometimes Ron gets stuck and he doesn't know, like, an engineering question.
Yep.
Where should I put the support beam? Things like that. And so we've been asking our friends, because we have like a couple, we have a reenactor buddy who he just happens to be an ex-engineer.
He's retired, but he's a structural engineer.
Yeah, so we asked him a couple of questions about where should we put the support beam, because the fireplaces are going to get in the way. So everyone who has come together for this project, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
That includes yourself watching our videos,
Yep.
because obviously, you know, we need the support in that way to build the house. So thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you.
Couldn't do it without any of you.
I know, we couldn't do any of this
Whether
without
it
you.
be viewers or people on the ground there.
Right, thank you so much, guys. That means we're all co-owners of the house.
That's right.
You own a 0.5% share of our house. Congratulations.
We still got a long ways to go though, but
Yeah,
it
we
is hard, and
Yeah.
I'm beat right now. We were out there all day yesterday, and the heat index was 108 again. The heat got cranked back up this week, and today's our day off, if you will, but we're here working
Yes.
on our days off of that. So tomorrow I'll be back out there again putting up beams for the Nets floor joists, or for the Nets floor joists to go up. And so, anyways, that's how that's going. But how about we get into some of this week in history?
Let's do it. This week in history. Go.
All right. So for September 4th. Now this is interesting.
He has a lot of them this week.
Yes,
so
this is a
buckle
big
up.
list.
He's American history is just absolutely insane. Every week we are rediscovering this.
Yes. Now this is interesting. So, who show of hands? I can't see, but show of hands. Who lives in Los Angeles?
Not me.
Not me. I've been here. All right.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
in 1781, Los Angeles is founded by a group of 44 settlers who came from central New Spain, which is modern-day Mexico, Texas area. So, New Spain was everything west of the Louisiana Territory, which included like Arizona and Nevada and Colorado.
Wow. New Spain.
And California. All them areas, yeah.
I'll admit, I had no clue that it went back to the 1780s.
I didn't either.
I thought it was maybe a mid-1800s
You
deal.
would think so, but nope. It's from the 18th century, so...
Wow.
September 4th, happy birthday, Los Angeles. You've been around for a long time.
I'd say.
Next up, I've got for September 5th. In 1885, the first gasoline pump is delivered to a gasoline dealer in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So, that's before the car was even invented.
In 1885, they had
1885.
gasoline pumps.
Now, gasoline is a byproduct of making kerosene. And before then, they had no use for it, so they would just burn it. But in 1885, they decided to start putting it in things like these hit-and-miss motors which is a combustible engine. Now, the combustible engine was first invented by a man named Nicholas Otto over in Germany, and that was in the 1860s. But by the time we get around to America, they make their way over here by the late 1870s. So by 1885, they needed somewhere to really start getting gas that was more convenient. And there was, I think, the first combustion engine, gasoline tractor was from 1890, actually. Before that, it was coal, steam power.
Yeah, I remember seeing, like at some Thrasher conventions, that they have these engines that are for getting well water.
Yeah, they're called a hit-and-miss engine. They have a pulley, if you will, and you hook a belt up to them. They can power pumps for water, for oil coming. If you're on an oil rig, or
sawmill.
Running a sawmill.
Yeah.
You can run electricity. It can be a generator. It could also what's the other one that was really popular? Oh, you could work machinery with it, like a thresher that would. It knocks the seeds or the grains out of wheat.
So you telling me that there was a guy that you said his last name was Otto.
Yeah, it's actually Otto's here in Missouri.
So you tell
St. Genevieve.
Is that why we call them automobiles? Because his last name is Otto?
That I don't know.
That's really suspicious, though, isn't it?
He didn't invent the automobile, though. He just invented the motor, the engine.
But that could be still why they call it an automobile. Does anyone out there know? Is it named after this guy's last name is Otto from the mid-1800s?
I don't think so, but you never know.
Okay.
Next up, I got September 6th. In 1716, the first lighthouse was built in North America. Any guesses where it could be?
1716.
So it's early.
Maine?
You're close. It's up in that area.
I don't know. Boston? New York?
Yep, Boston.
Oh, okay, cool. I totally knew that.
The Boston Lighthouse marks the main shipping entrance into the Boston Harbor and New England's busiest port.
Is it still around today?
Yes, it has been commercially active since the 17th century, since 1716.
That's incredible.
Since before 1716.
Ron's going to put a picture of what it looks like. And this is originally from the early 18th century.
The thing is, the one that's there today is the second oldest. The first oldest, which was built in the same spot, was tore down by the British in 1776 during the Revolutionary War.
Dang it, they've gone too far! Man!
They just tear down everything. So it was rebuilt in 1783. So
that's still pretty old.
Yeah,
okay?
It's still pretty old, and it's there today.
That's incredible.
A fun fact I read about it: they actually doused the light during the War of 1812, so ships could not see the coast.
Huh?
to guide them in. And they did the same thing in World War One and World War Two because they didn't want enemy submarines or ships to get close to the coast. If they really get close, they wanted them to, smash into the reef and die.
Lovely.
Yes.
Wow.
And then next up, I got for also September 6th, we're gonna wish a happy birthday to Marquis de Lafayette.
Huh.
Our French patriotic friend.
And he was around in this area too. Like he did this
he came back and
U.S.
toured.
tour.
Yeah, so he originally came over from France during the American Revolutionary War. He donated his services to George Washington. He becomes a general himself, and he leads men during the Revolutionary War here in America. After it's over, he returns to France and he fights in France's revolution. Then he comes back and gives George Washington the key to the Bastille. And then I think the next time he comes to America is in like the 18-teens or 1820s area. And he's an old man at this point. And he tours all, I believe it was 25 states at the time. So he came to Illinois. He might even come to Missouri, actually.
Yeah, might have. So there's a house right across the river from here called the Pierre Menard Home, which is an early 1800s house that still stands to this day, and you can tour it. And in the house, just sitting in a dresser without really any protection around it whatsoever, is a dress that was worn by the daughter of the house, and she wore it to a ball where she danced with General Lafayette during this tour.
Yeah. It's a really neat house. You guys should check it out. Next up, for September 7th, I have, in 1813, the United States gets its nickname, Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam? Like the posters in World War II where he says, "We want you." So when did he come around?
So the name, in 1813. So the name is linked to a real man named Samuel Wilson, who was a meat packer from Troy, New York.
Okay.
He supplied barrels of beef to the United States Army during the War of 1812. And he labeled his barrels of beef with U.S., indicating that it was property of the U.S. government. But the soldiers referred to the U.S. as Uncle Sam, because he was providing them meat.
Okay.
And they were very happy about that, because soldiers always want meat. There's always a lack of rations in the early days of America for soldiers. Nowadays, they've got what do they call them things?
MREs?
Yeah, now they got MREs, like crazy, but those didn't exist then, so.
Wow, I had no clue that he was from that early.
Yeah. Next up I got for September 7th, 1860, we're going to wish a happy birthday to Grandma Moses. Grandma Moses is the lady who painted over 1,800 paintings of the folk art.
Oh.
Many of us have seen these paintings before. There's puzzles.
Beautiful art.
Yes.
American folk art.
I love it. And it's just beautiful. It's one of them kind of pictures that I can sit there and be like, man, I wish I could just insert myself into it. She paints fall scenes, Christmas scenes, spring and summer, and they're very patriotic.
American folk art has a very distinctive style, especially like once you go to about 1800 and later. It's very blocky. It's very simple. It's just very unique compared to what they were doing over in England and other parts of Europe. And even before then, I can definitely pick out whether a painting was painted in America or if it was painted in France or England. If it's a portrait of a woman, their hairstyles in America were so much simpler. So we've always had just like a very unique art history going back hundreds of years.
Right. Next up I got for September 8th. If you live in St. Augustine, Florida, it is your birthday.
Hey, what's up with all these birthdays? There's so many birthdays.
In 1565, on September 8th, the first permanent European settlement was founded, which is St. Augustine in modern-day Florida.
Huh. You know who else has a birthday in September?
You.
That's right.
Somebody's got a birthday coming up.
My birthday is September 21st.
That's in about 2 weeks.
That's in about 2 weeks. So don't forget, or I might take it real personal, but it's not a big deal.
Next up, I got two more here. On September 9th in 1850, California is admitted as the 31st state of the United States of America. So happy birthday to California. And I got one more birthday. There's so many birthdays this week. I'm sorry.
A lot of happenings in September.
Now this next one is cool.
Oh,
And-
this one's cool. He
This-
says it like
this
everything
one-
else was.
Okay, this one's the coolest. So on September 9th in 1890, Colonel Sanders, the American businessman of KFC franchise, was born.
Oh, where would America be without our precious fried chicken?
Yes.
Yeah. They say fried chicken is originally a Scottish dish
It is.
because the Scottish were obsessed with frying just about everything. And then Scottish immigrants came to the U.S. colonies and they introduced that style of frying over here. But also, when they were publishing cookbooks in England, a lot of those cookbooks incorporated nearby countries' recipes. So the earliest recipes I can find in cookbooks for fried chicken are from English published cookbooks, so published in England in the 18th century. And now the modern fried chicken with all the seasonings, like I guess we would call it Creole seasonings and all that,
Mm-hmm.
that's a mixture between what the Scottish, the concept of frying chicken with the batter on it and everything, but then the spices they say could have been introduced by African American slaves that put that in.
Yeah, because they're cooking with different things down there in the Caribbean.
Yeah, they were cooking with like
Oh.
spicier foods and things like that.
So you get this really awesome
Right.
combination.
Yeah, this awesome combination that came out.
Boy, this stuff makes a mess. I
Yeah,
will say
it's
good.
toasted.
It is good in the juice though.
Okay. It is pretty
But
good,
it's
yeah.
it's quite crumbly.
It is.
I'm making a mess.
You're eating it like croutons.
Yeah.
So is that all we have for this week in history?
That's all I got this week for This Week in History.
Okay, congratulations, you've made it this far. I would give you a present, but I have none. So I'll give you a dance.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We will see you next week. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. If we survive, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you all next week, hopefully.
Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of the week.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.